What has caused the decline of faith in young people? What can I do about it as a young adult? Also, was Catholicism or Christianity ever taught to children in America in public schools?
Oof. Well, I would say the reason why young people don't have the faith is because the old people in their lives, their clergy and their parents didn't have the faith. You can't teach what you don't have. You cannot be a reservoir if you don't have any water. Most kids who go to Catholic schools are not taught the Catholic faith. And it's presented to them in such a way that confirmation becomes graduation from church. And that is the fault, secondarily of the parents, but primarily the hierarchy. You know, when they're not busy chiseling off the dead, you know, the bereaved, they're busy not imparting the faith.
Well, you know, I know there was an excuse among my parents' generation that we sent our kids to Catholic school,
Yeah.
and we assumed that they would teach them the Catholic faith. There's a problem with that.
There's a big problem with that.
Okay.
That's that God made the teacher the primary teacher of the child and absolved the parent of all responsibility.
Exactly. Now, it really gets back on them, is if they believed in the Catholic faith, that it really is what will save your soul from eternal destruction, then wouldn't they have felt compelled,
of course,
to be the teachers of their children, rather than to hand it over to a bunch of nuns, who many of the nuns involved were rather nasty.
Well,
Now, I'm not saying all,
no,
but I had a few bringers at my school. I know you did at yours.
I'll say IHM means I hate men. That's what it stood for.
Yeah.
Yep. And you had that one, your beard, I remember, was based on hers. Sister Mary Butch.
Sister Butch, yeah. Not exactly, but no. But the thing is, a lot of women ended up in the convents that should not have been nuns.
Yeah.
Okay. And for some of them, it was the only way to get an education or whatever. So then they end up having to try to teach a lot of bratlets, something that the bratlets don't really want to
hear, and that they themselves had a shaky hold on. Because, you know, another thing that happened, not only did you have women who shouldn't be in the convent, but because after World War II, there was a huge explosion in the numbers of Catholic hospitals and schools. To meet that and the need for, well, woman power to man them, a number of orders cheapened their preparation. And so, you know, you might be taught that you need to fold the cuff like this, but you're never told why. You know, you're not told how it commemorates our Holy Foundress's escape from the Turks at the siege of Vienna, how she had all the nuns put their thing just like so they could escape their burning convent, because that's where a lot of this would come from. You know, either history of the order or some spiritual symbolism. You know, this shows that as Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament exposed, we're always on guard for our Lord. It was those two sorts of things that determined the shape of the sisters' habit. Mm-hmm. And some of them were pretty odd looking, you know, because of whatever. Well, they stopped in a lot of orders. They stopped teaching them the why in order to get them out there quickly. Some of them, including the I Hate Men people, my own, started putting novices in the classroom, which, you know, their constitutions required that these women be fully formed and in final rounds before they went out to deal with little monsters. They're sending novices out to the classroom. These are people maybe 5 or 10 years older than their charges. So,
well, even a generation back before all that, my mother still has never forgotten how she was Hungarian, you know, and the nuns that taught her were Poles, I think. They just hated the Hungarians or they were Italians, and it was some
whatever they were,
international crisis. You know, so they treated her badly, and that really, you know, hurt her.
Yeah.
To this day, she's 89 and still talks about it.
It's true. Oh, they were so mean. Oh, they were so mean.
Yeah.
I can hear your mom saying it.
Yeah, but it's still just the other day I was having lunch with one of my teachers from back then, my seventh grade teacher, and we were talking about how can you raise kids today in the Catholic faith, and I said, well, how did they raise kids in Rome? You know, there has always been the challenge
Always.
of raising Catholic children.
And what makes it possible is when the parents of said children see it as their primary goal or primary focus. So, in answer to your question, what can young Catholics do? Don't do that. Everything you saw us do? No! Bad touch.
Yeah.
Don't you do that. Look at us as like Marley's ghost. Whoa!
Clang, 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 clang.
You have yet a chance and a hope of escaping our fate. But what's the guy's name? Emmanuel. So, at any rate, know your faith and see it as the thing that will keep you from hell, if anything will.
If you really believe it will, then you'll be more inclined to act that way.
And to pass it on, when one day, as Cliff Richards, your favorite rock and roller, said, one day you'll teach the young ones, someday you'll teach the young ones of your own. That's the thing. You know, you're going to go, honestly, from being a young Catholic now
to being an old codger Catholic.
Yeah, and it's going to happen just like that.